Hey guys, it's your pal Victor here. Welcome to live art stream. Uh, so I meant to do this stream last night. We went to go to the movies, and I was really tired. And that seems to be the story. I've just been like busy and tired. So I have a bunch of sketches I have to finish up for Grosstober to get back on track, so I can do some new ones that I can like auction off and stuff. And solicit some new ones. So today I'm gonna do a long stream. It's 2:30 Mountain Time now, and I'm gonna do a bunch of sketches, and we're gonna have some fun with it. So today we're gonna do. I'm gonna start this off with Barry Beaker, which is like a science experiment atom bomb. And if you catch this, I know I'm going live at a random time and I didn't really promote this. I'm sure you'll catch it later. And then hopefully we can have some fun next week with some Halloween week sketches. But for today, we're going to do some atom bomb sketches. I'm going to mail off some Grosstober stuff tomorrow. It's kind of funny. Usually I'm at least fully drawing this. This time I just wanted to get the shape of the head in before I really commit to a lot, because he's wearing glasses in this, so I wanted to visualize it a little bit. So feel free to say hello if you're hanging out. If not, catch this stream, drop a comment when you do. I do have a bit of a headache right now, but I'm drinking some water and trying to power through it. You know, such is life, guys. Sometimes you have headaches and you gotta like live your life, and it's kind of what I'm doing right now. Alright, he's gonna be holding a beaker here, which will have like a little explosion similar to this one. This one isn't gonna take me a very long time, actually. That's kind of fun. The ubiquitous nature of atom bomb explosions. I feel like I can draw an atom bomb explosion in my sleep at this point. There we go. I feel like it's gonna rain. I have, a case of the arthritis, but one of the side effects is that I can usually feel when it's gonna rain, like the day before it happens. I mean, usually, I say usually, I mean always. So right now my joints are very sore, so I'm like, that's gonna happen. Anyway, like I said, welcome to live art stream. I'm Victor. We're having some fun here today. So now I'm gonna start using these guys. These are basically Copic knockoffs. You can get them at Blick. And I apologize for, me hitting pull here. It does happen. That's a good blue on there. If you're new, you're hanging out, feel free to say hello. Usually the way it works is you leave a comment in the chat, and I can usually see it scroll on the screen, and I respond to it as like audio commentary while I'm drawing, which is what's happening now. Just doing some skin tone here. Weirdly enough, there is really not a ton to color on this kid. Most of this work is going to be the explosions, which don't take very long. Alright. I also have some videos to edit, so it's going to be a busy day. I gotta get dinner going in a few hours. Probably run over to the store and get some chicken, just keep it simple. And Atom Bomb's looking pretty cute right here. Alright, and we'll do a little bit around the cheeks here. Now, there's a part of me that's like, I should have taken a nap before this stream, but, you know, just power through. Scratchy, scratchy. Alright. I need to moisturize, friends. I have very dry skin on my arms. Alright. That looks good. Let's start doing some outlining here around the face. Even though this is like, you know, not a brush nib, I'm going light because the color's a little heavy on this marker. Or like it flows a little heavier than I would like. Is a better way of saying it. That's the thing, sometimes you just have to be used to the delicacy of the equipment used. And sometimes when markers get a little older, they get a little finicky. And this one's a little finicky. It's a little, you push down hard and like the ink flows. Yeah, that looks pretty cute. I think one of my situations is I tend to overthink these designs a bit. It's like, this is a nice piece, but I don't have to go too crazy on it. I tend to go a little too crazy on things sometimes. Look at that. Alright, as we continue on this sacred quest, now let's do some pink cheeks here. I'm kind of starting to just dab these with dots to get more of the shape I want. Sort of like digital printing. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Alright, time to get the sauce going. And by sauce, I mean the main explosion here. Yeah, this the explosion on Barry Beaker's main head here is a little saucy, it looks like to me. Like the yellow that I'm thinking this is David Gross who probably painted this. It looks kind of like a pizza. Fun fact, I recently found a pizza place here in Tempe that I actually liked. This is a rare occasion, as like I'm notoriously anti-Arizona pizza. There's a little chain here called Zesty Zeke's Pizza, which I know the name is like awful. But there's a guy who makes the pizza in the mornings, and he does a really good job. It's very saucy and cheesy, and the crust is very crispy. I went in there at night and it was different, so then I went back again when I got my hair cut the other day, and it was how I remembered. So it's that guy, the way he makes it specifically, I like. So I'm very happy about this. I like pizza, but I hate pizza in Arizona. As if you couldn't tell, I'm not from Arizona. You know, I'm from California, where they have really good pizza. And I travel a lot, so I taste good pizza in other states. And I will be first to tell you guys, if you like food, specifically if you like Italian food, like pizza, if you like, and the pasta's not bad here, but pizza specifically, if you like Chinese food, and if you like Mexican food, Phoenix is a terrible area for you to visit because all of those three cuisines, the food is terrible. There's really good Indian food here, shockingly. Like, one of those things you just wouldn't expect, but yet there it is. There's a lot of good steakhouses here. But if you want good pizza, you are kind of out of luck. And this is a sad thing for me because I really loved pizza, and it got to where I largely grew to hate it because the pizza here was so mediocre. Um, If you ever watch Breaking Bad, there's a whole thing where Walt throws the pizza on the roof. So the chain that did that, 'cause it's an actual chain, it's called Venezia's. It's actually based here in Arizona. It has a couple of New Mexico locations, which is why it's in Breaking Bad. It used to be really good. That was a really good pizza chain, and it grew really big, and now it's, I would say, objectively terrible. It's one of those places that like sells their own pasta sauce in jars now. It's all very like college kid greasy bullshit pizza. But it used to be really good. Like it transcended its mediocre college town, you know, roots. Now it's embracing them quite literally. And thankfully, it's not like Twisters, where it's just like the whole thing exists as some monument to the TV show was featured in. If you go there, they do have Breaking Bad themed stuff, depending on the location. But when I go to a restaurant, it's because I want food, not movie nostalgia. If you can get both, that's great. I'm trying to think of like restaurants I know that are monuments to TV shows that are actually good restaurants. And I'm having a hard time thinking of it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and shut that, thinking down, because it's like, if I can't think of it offhand, it's probably not a good example. Have I tried Casa Bonita in Colorado? No, we were gonna go to Casa Bonita when we drove through there in July, but it happened to be closed that day. I heard that place is having a lot of problems. I guess right now it's shut down because the workers there are trying to unionize as part of IATSE and Actors Equity, because there's roaming actors and stuff like that. It's like, and that place opened less than a year ago, so I'm really, it's pretty much a money pit. I think it just exists, as kind of like the South Park guys were like, yeah, let's open this up, and then they haven't made a cent off of it. Mind you, I'm not against people unionizing. Yeah, I've heard that. Well, from what I saw, because I saw video before, that place was like definitely like on its death rattle before the South Park guys bought it. Yeah, I bet. I want to go there at some point because I guess they moved the Vinegar Syndrome store to the same strip mall that thing is in. So there's like a couple things there I could check out and do some content. I'm really backed up on making content though. Once this is over, I gotta do my Frankenstein review, which is good, by the way. Yeah, I've heard that they have like cliff divers and stuff. I feel like I wouldn't like the food just because like I'm very like picky about my Mexican food, clearly. But I'd like to check it out just for the experience. That's like a place you go to for the vibes more so than the food, I'm guessing. But if it's a cool experience and the food is just okay, then that's fine as long as it's a cool experience. Yeah, I figured it would be white Mexican food. That's Colorado's not that far from Arizona, clearly, and yeah, most of the Mexican restaurants here are white Mexican food. Place where like you order like enchiladas and then you just cut it open and it's just like rotisserie chicken meat in there. They didn't cook it like separately, or like there's chimichangas and there's like a sour cream sauce, and you order like beans and it has like cheese and olives on top. This is for anyone who's reading this, and this comes from somebody who is Latino. This is gospel here. If you go to a Mexican restaurant and the menu has pictures of the food and the pictures show olive black sliced black olives on things, you are in a white Mexican restaurant. And what that means is it's like white people's versions of what Mexican food should be. Usually the restaurants from like the 50s or the 60s, the food is going to be really bland. Um, you know, really bland. They're going to bring you chips with like really watery salsa, or everything is going to have chipotle on it. There's no in between. It's really watery salsa, or everything is chipotle, you know. And they'll probably do some kind of table side thing, like either like a table side Caesar salad or a table side guacamole. That might be good. Usually you can't fuck up table side guacamole, but just understand what you're getting into when you go into these places. That there's going to be like really dry Mexican rice, and you're going to get like salad with your rice and beans just because it's filler. So that's just how it works, dude. And now you know. So consider yourself educated. See, I would be on board with that because, fun fact, I am half Cuban, half Mexican. I had a lot of family in Florida. That's where like my aunt like is buried. My dad is from like spent some time in Florida. I love Cuban food. I cook Cuban food at home. It's like I love moros y cristianos. I love ropa vieja. I love yuca and plátanos. That's what I'm about, dude. There's like one place here that has good Cuban food in Arizona. It's literally called Cuban Bakery. I grow fruit all year. Well, you can do that in Florida. You can't grow fruit for shit in Arizona. But yeah, I love Cuban food. Cuban food in California is kind of hit and miss. Really weird is like Peruvian restaurants are really popular there now, but like the big thing there as far as Cuban stuff is like portos, which basically all they sell are like different forms of papas rellenas. Which, if you're listening to this and you don't know what that is, basically it's like you take mashed potatoes and then you like put something in the middle. Usually it's like ground beef, or like ground beef and like bell pepper or some, or cheese, and then you mash it into a little ball, and you like dip it in like egg, and then you like fry it. So it's like a fried mashed potato ball with stuff inside. I believe it. It's like, and like I said, man, I like Cuban food. It's just very hard to find here. I had Indian food for lunch, which I always tell people who like food from Cuba or Puerto Rico or like Dominican food. It's like weirdly not that different from those places, but it's like the whole chain of spices where people who like India mixes up with like North Africa, and then there's a whole like Afro-Caribbean slave trade. That's why like, Caribbean food tastes so much like food from Southeast Asia and in, like the coast of Africa. It's like, yeah, Ethiopian food also weirdly kind of tastes like Caribbean food. Who knew? But there you go. Oh yeah, Cuban coffee is no joke. Like you have to like drink that shit in a little cup. Black, that shit'll keep you up all day. If I had some of that shit right now, I probably wouldn't be tired. But there you go. So yeah, in case you guys didn't know, I'm a little bit of a foodie. I know how to cook because, you know, I'll be real. A lot of these, like Cuban food, this is a fun thing about Cuban food, is very inexpensive. Like all the ingredients in Cuban food are very inexpensive, but like it takes a little while to make most of the stuff that you get at a Cuban restaurant. So you get charged a lot because of that. So if you like get like arroz con pollo at like a Cuban restaurant, it's gonna cost you a lot, like maybe $20 at least. If you go and make it at home, it's gonna cost you like a rotisserie chicken and rice and veggies. So it's gonna be like a $6 thing and a pan and your time. So there you go. Learn to cook, folks. It's kind of like the solution to all life's problems. So yeah, you guys hear me on stream when I'm on here a lot, talk about how like, oh, I gotta get dinner going. It's like, yeah, because you know I cook. You know, I cook, I art. You know, I fix my own cars. That's what I do, man. I just like learn how to do shit. There's kind of a satisfying feeling too when you learn how to do things. Oh yeah, Cuban sandwiches are bomb. So if you guys don't know what a Cuban sandwich is, it's like on a press, like you could do with a panini or whatever. But it's like you get bread and it's like ham, some pork, and like you know, some Swiss cheese and like mustard, and then you like press it. I think if you make it a slightly different way, the cubano is also called a medianoche. Yeah, seasoned pork. But it's really fucking good, dude. It's funny, any place that has like that does like pickles. Yeah, that's it. Pickles. How the fuck did I forget that? Like I live off of pickles, you know? But yeah, dude, that's actually all you need in a sandwich. Those few ingredients, you know? You get the brininess. I'll tell you, this is probably why I like Italian sandwiches because it's kind of the same thing. They have this thing called Italians have this thing called giardiniera, which is basically like pickled vegetables they put in a sandwich. It's good. But yeah, all those like a cubano or medianoche, if you get them in the right place, they should be really cheap. But like, you know, then white people find out about this shit and it becomes like a little delicacy or whatever the fuck, and then suddenly they're $16. You know, you gotta pay the white people tax. Let's see. But yeah, it's like, you know, there's this thing that they're called like fusion restaurants. It's like they'll just take like, you know, something that like people like live off of that's really inexpensive, and then they'll just add like truffles on top of it or something, and then boom, then it's suddenly super expensive. Atom bombs looking good. Oh, thank you. Yeah, trying to have fun with him. Alright, let's finish this guy off because I'd like to hop on to the next battle here. Yeah, I'm enjoying talking about food though. I'm glad I ate right before this. I still have a headache though. I'm just gonna drink some water once I finish him. Usually I don't use a pen this thin, but it seems to be working the job right there. Yeah, this atom bomb is pretty cute. It's like usually I'm a little more detailed on him, but I think less is more in this case. I think that's the thing sometimes. I just like over detail stuff on some of my drawings sometimes, but I want to do some really detailed. No, this is what I'm doing. It's called Grosstober. I like, sometimes I mean to do Inktober. I just never get around to it. What I'll probably end up doing next week is I'm just going to do like, I'm going to finish up all these Grosstober commissions. I was doing Drawaway until it selected day 22. Yeah, that's the thing. Like the prompts like for Inktober and those things are always boring. I had to be 100% real. It's like cat, scare. Draw what you want. It's just like I don't know. It's not very inspiring. I'm not a prompt based person. It's hard enough sometimes for me to do stuff like this where I'm just like doing commissions as much as I can for a given period of time because sometimes I don't feel certain things. But you do your best. That's what I kind of try to tell myself. I'm just like this October. I just happened to be very busy. Just like I have a trip. I'm going out of town tomorrow for the weekend, and then I'm going out of town again next week. So I'm just trying to get caught up so everybody's commissions can get out and I can do a few more like spooky cards before the month is over. Yeah. So I decided to just challenge myself by doing this Grosstober thing, which is worked out pretty good, I think. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more commissions to go through before I'm caught up. So, it's a little bit much. I didn't think it would pile up so quickly. I mean, if I wanted to, I could stretch these to the end of the month, but I'm going to try to do a few today. I should have done some last night, like I said. I was just too tired. Like, heck, I was going to do 31 days of horror, where it's like 31 horror recommendations, horror recommendation every day, and I didn't. I got through like one day. What I should have done is filmed a bunch ahead of time, so it give me some breather. And that's the thing. It's not like it's even difficult for me to do reviews and stuff. It's just finding the time sometimes can be difficult to post things or. Halloween was a bunch of illustrators. I mean, that's what I am. I'm an illustrator. Oh, this looks good. I think half the challenge and the thing I'm doing here is I don't have roughs. And it's like, I'm too busy to get around to doing roughs, to be honest with you. But sometimes it can be fun to have that option. Hard to compete for New York's. Well, I'll be real. I think the reason people started doing things like Drawaway and stuff like that is so people could discover them on like the algorithm while looking for hashtags. And the established illustrators are always, I get what you're saying now, are always going to get more eyes than new people. It's like, I feel like I was at least realistic when I used to do that stuff, that I don't think people were ever going to discover me that way. Yeah, I don't even think people use hashtags to find things anymore. If anything, this is why I need to take more advantage of things like threads and just start posting things in topics. But I think I have the problem that I'm always really busy, so it's not like I have downtime to, like, oh, who's going to find me? It's like I'm busy, so people usually will find me. So it's like opposite problem. I don't know. I just did Son of Monster Palooza, and it's funny. I got to put together a video because I found all these other videos of people coming across my booth and filming me, but of course they never tag me or anything. Excuse me. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Like sometimes people ask me, like, how are you able to talk and draw at the same time? It's like, isn't it distracting? Like, you have to stop talking while you're drawing? It's like, no, because once I have kind of like a rough idea of it, I'm just let the art sort of roll. All right, so there is Barry Beaker here. All right, he looks pretty good. I'm gonna call him done. Cross him off my list. It forces me to draw when you draw. That's funny. Well, I'm glad I can help get you drawing. I know. I just need to draw more, like, in general. I like most of my screen prints and stuff that I do lately are just like, me flexing my graphic designer arm. It's not like it's just like clip art. It's just as time consuming. But I do like enjoy it more when some of my posters are just things that I draw and then have fun coloring digitally. Alright, let's do Nat Nerd now. I know I did a Nat Nerd a couple weeks ago, but that was a couple weeks ago. So this girl has like 3 commissions she wants. So we're gonna do these. And they're fun. So bear with me while I pull up my art reference. Fun fact, try to have art reference when you draw. It makes life easier. Alright. It's not like you're tracing, it's just like, you have an idea of what you're drawing. And I like giving tips when I draw because I do assume some people who are watching me draw are artists, so maybe they're just looking for some different ideas or inspo. It's weird. I used to not really try to look outside of myself for inspo, but after a while you do need to like step outside of yourself because it might wake up stuff in you that you didn't even know you liked. You're not going to reinvent the wheel. It's good to just get ideas of something you might like. Oh, that's interesting. I can do something like that with what I do. Hypotheticals. I mean, because I have my own style, clearly. Like, even when I look at references, it's just, for details and like, especially for Garbage Pail Kid stuff, it's like I'm already gonna draw what I draw a certain way. And then there's like little idiosyncrasies I pick up that I like that don't make sense to other people. Like why I draw my Garbage Pail Kids with 4 fingers, even though they're not 4-fingered characters. I'm just like, I'm just gonna draw them that way, right? Well, I feel now that Fanatics own Zone, they probably won't. As long as stuff. Visual examples were never a thing up until a few years ago. Right. Every once in a while, I get ideas for things, and I feel like I should roll with them. Like, I feel like there should totally be a Homelander version of Nat Nerd. I'll probably do one day. hopefully it won't take me too long to color this guy. I think sometimes too, one of the things I struggle with is sometimes I'm in the mood to draw, but I'm not in the mood to go live. So that's a unique thing I learned while doing this little project here. I'm like, I could draw this, but I really don't feel sociable. Which is odd because I'm just essentially talking to you guys, and but there's just times where, man, it's hard. You have that, what do you call it, the social battery. You can only talk for so long. This is probably why I never try to do stuff like Whatnot. They need to make a new. They still don't understand why they let random artists do new atom bombs instead of GPK artists for 40th. Yeah. That's the thing. I think sometimes Tops is just trying to grow the fandom for Garbage Pail Kids to certain communities. Usually they seem to really target kind of like the lowbrow art community. So it's like these people would buy Garbage Pail Kids anyway. Let's get one like Alex Party or somebody like that to do something, because he did one and he's a really good artist, and like I've met him, so I don't really have a problem with that. Like people like him or Buff Monster doing stuff. Some other stuff I don't really, go and get like. But yeah, sometimes it does tend to be sometimes the people who get to do base art are the ones who bother Tops the most. And I'll be real, again, this is one of my problems is I'm usually too busy. Like Nick Castaneda or David Acevedo, those guys have bothered Tops to do base cards, so they've gotten on there. It's like I'm gonna try to do the Philly non-sports card show next year, and I might bother Tops to do a promo card for that. Because I would like to do Gross Card Con again, but I got to be real. I don't really want to pay for like the hotel room and all that shit. So if I was a guest, I'd be more likely to do it, and the only way you get to be a guest is by doing base card art. And I'll be the first to say I feel like I'm kind of an outsider among like GPK people, because I'm not in one of these like little crews of people who like all do stuff together. So when I do get popular, it's because I do stuff like this, and I build up a following, but then sometimes I let it fall off. So my goal this time is to stay on top of what I'm doing, keep my yearly sets going. Even though I didn't do one this year, I am going to do one for early next year, so I can like knock two out. Yeah, it's strange. Well, not strange. I mean, I guess it's comforting, to have people you can, relate to that way. I like, and I'm just the kind of the odd cat out that I've never been like that. To me, art is kind of this. Like, I like sharing it while I'm doing it, like this. But like, as far as like talking about it, I feel like I like talking to people who are gonna get it, versus like people who also do it. I'm just not like a big like I don't get inspired from TED Talks kind of guy thing. But that just might be me. I know I'm also weirdly asocial, because I'm very social in certain circumstances, and others it's hard for me to make friends with people. And I'll be very real that I've had a hard time making friends with Garbage Pail Kid artists. I've done a lot of the conventions, but yeah, really, it's just more like a acquaintanceship, And, I'm also an older guy, even though you wouldn't think it to look at me. Not many artists can talk and draw. Yeah, no, it's also true. I've seen streams where it's just like all you see is the art, which is fine. I like talking while I'm drawing, because I have an inner monologue going all the time anyway. I know I have music in the background too, although I don't know if you can hear it, but I always have music playing in the background. All right. And then I listen to a lot of, not music in my age range, I suppose. Like right now I'm listening to Japanese trap music. I also like digital hardcore. I like cholo goth, kind of like, or Mexican goth music. I like dark wave. That's the word I'm looking for. I like dark wave music, like certain synth wave. So, I listen to all kinds of stuff. Yeah, music is good to draw to, It's kind of like creates, I feel like it helps you create environments in your mind. Oh man, guys, tell me when I take the card off the thing. Unfortunately, I didn't realize it, but I had slid the card off. But yeah, I feel like I've only played Mexican, or I only play Japanese trap music on my streams, because a lot of Mexican dark wave is copyright protected. Well, I suppose it doesn't really matter. I don't really try to monetize my live streams. I think they are monetized though. Not while you're live, but after the fact. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I want to like create things, There's a lot of outside noise in my life already. And realistically, I don't like talking about things that bother me on streams, because then it feels like you're just ranting into the void. I feel like art is enough of an escape from that shit anyway. Alright, let's get some hair color in here. Yeah, weirdly enough, I'm not really like a huge fan of drawing this character. I feel like I draw him a lot compared to how much I actually like it, but I also think like he's too overly detailed for how simple he is. Like the zit covered comic nerd stereotype seems very dated to me. It feels like very Big Bang Theory, which is a show I don't like. Oh, that's cool. What color was it? Printing plates are a cool thing to pull. Nice. That's the color I would want. That was the final color on top. All right. Oh, here's the blue I want. probably keep going till like 4. That's my goal. I'm just gonna draw till 4. See how many cards I can get done till then. Yeah. I mean, I also blame like sports cards and whatnot for doing that because I look on my stream and people rip all kinds of cards now. Like I saw a thing on there with somebody like bought a box of Batman 1989 movie cards to rip on their stream yesterday. So it's just gonna make ripping any kind of card prohibitively expensive because people are gonna buy boxes just to do breaks and rips to get viewers, and they don't really give a fuck how expensive it is. And that's one of the things that actually bummed me out about GPK 40th is how insanely expensive the cards themselves are. Like the boxes were like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It's like very expensive to buy, Garbage Pail Kids at retail. I was at a card shop the other day and they had GPK Series 4 and in the packs, and they were selling the packs for $10, and I was like, kind of underselling yourself. I mean, realistically, I could have bought that whole box and made more money ripping them on a stream. That's just where we're at now. It's weird. I also think part of it is like the economy and stuff. People like doing things vicariously through other people because like they can't afford to do it themselves, which is sad. Everything's just really fucking expensive nowadays. Oh yeah, well fuck, dude. Fanatics is all about monetizing fucking everything. Like their WWE shit, like they do relics of every fucking thing instantly. I also at least like I feel like Fanatics is actually on top of what they do. Like I've done so many sets for Upper Deck, and like I never know when those sets actually come out, if they ever do or anything. I did like a I did like a Marvel set for them that like never came out, and I still have like returns for it because they lost the license to Tops. And I just did a Batman the Animated Series set for them too, and like I don't know when or if that's ever coming out. It's not even that. I did this whole Lucha Libre card set like I want to say during the pandemic, and I don't think that ever came out. Like half the people I drew in that set are like in WWE now. Like I did so many like cards with Penta on them. I did the first series of Craniacs, and I thought I did good on that set, but then they never asked me to do another one. But I think again that comes down to like, I don't chase after these things. Like Tops has asked me to do like Star Wars for them so many times after I did it a few times. I'm not a big Star Wars guy, so it's not like a thing for me. Like I'm not like, yeah, cool. I'm more like, eh. I could have done like a Pixar or Disney set, and I just was too busy. Yeah, they do like. I know Fanatics and Tops both like me because like whenever they're short on cards on a set, they always hit me up. So I always like end up doing like way more cards on sets than like anybody else. Like I forget how many I did for 40th. I did at least 150 sketch cards for 40th, probably more. It's weird how some artists can do their stuff for sets, but other artists will do I mean, I suppose I can do photorealistic art. It's just kind of, and it's weird. Here's the other thing that's weird about that. Like, I know so many people who like, oh my god, you're such a good artist because you can make something look real. It's like actually kind of easy to do photorealistic art. Like if you've been like trained, I mean, I went to art school. I can do photorealistic art. It's just, I mean, I hate to say boring, but I mean, it's kind of boring, honestly. It's like time consuming. There we go. Like I can do this. I mean, I ain't even gonna lie. I've done a whole set of like Garbage Pail Kids in like 2 or 3 days before. If I did something photorealistic, I could not get it done in that amount of time because you have to take your time. It's all about like keeping the likeness there and proportions versus something like this where you can kind of like fuck up a little bit. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I suppose. I think they just like that I can, get stuff done quickly, which is half the battle of doing anything for an art director. Because usually when they need an artist, they needed it yesterday. Because I know I'm always like, shit, I gotta get this done, I gotta get this done. It's not like, oh, I need, a few sets back, because there's like a tops artist group. There are people who were like, because I also do the online sets when they have sketch cards, and not everybody who does the retail sets gets to do those. And I had to chase that down for a while, like a few years till I finally got an invite to do that stuff. And even then, I turned it down because like there was like a wacky packages like Halloween set that I turned down that I think just came out. You got to be careful if you turn down enough stuff, you won't get invited to do it again. But there are people who were like, for this one online set, they were just like, why is the deadline only 2 weeks? We have like months to do this other set. I'm like, that's how the online sets are, dude. If you get like a 2 month deadline for something, that's like the fucking outlier, not the other way around. It's like half that's when if you want to get a lot of work doing stuff like sketch cards and stuff like that, just like be prepared to do good stuff quickly. That's half the battle. It's like getting it like it's done. Yeah, plus I think it also helps that like this is my actual job. I know a lot of other people have like side jobs and this is more like their dream hobby or something. Like I get to draw Garbage Pail Kids versus me, I'm like, I got to do 15 different sets. And I like drawing Garbage Pail Kids. Like this is the only set I like do for tops anymore, and I specifically am like, I don't want to do this other shit. This is what I want to do. I have no desire to do like Star Wars. You don't get AP cards, you just get paid like $15 to draw a photorealistic stormtrooper, which is boring as hell to me. But hey, some people like that stuff. Cult classic store looks fun too. Yeah, and I got to do some originals. Like I want to put more originals in our brick and mortar location, so people can already out of town be like, oh shit, I can buy some actual GPK original sketches here and stuff. So I'm working on that stuff, just finding the time to do it. All right. All right, let's add some more pink and then this guy will be done. Okay, I went a little heavy there with the red, so I just gotta add some pink so it doesn't look so infected. Alright, now he's done. Alright, got time for one more at least. Don't want to draw that character right now. Guess we'll do let's see, maybe that one. Leaky Lindsay. We'll get this going in a minute. Just pulling up my reference. Excuse me. Yeah, I went to an Indian restaurant for lunch. And the trick with buffets is to not eat too much, so I did not. Alright. But you do have to burp every now and again. Alright. So just so you got this is just like a sketch pad, and like the marker stuff does transfer from the back, so that's why it looks a little dirty. Mainly because I do that so it doesn't end up on my table. Alright, so we're gonna do a leaky Lindsay. Just let me drink some water here real quick. And I always recommend getting these kind of bottles. They keep ice in there for a long time. Not really, because I only do bust ups, so I'm not really gonna do the giant webbing too much. It's mainly gonna be her head dripping boogers. And I don't know, it's just sometimes ones that seem tough I don't think really are, just because like I just break it down into pieces. I don't really think of it as a whole. Like, who's a guy that is not hard to draw but more hard to color? Like this one, Dead Ted, he's not hard to draw. His whole difficulty in doing him is coloring him, you know? As long as you have the drawing under control, it's just understanding the lighting, and, you know, it's like two separate jobs in my brain. So here's how I break it down so it's easy. So you do the GPK character head, which is always this kind of like oblong circle, like a chubby ellipse. And then you do the first layer of the hair, which is the Cabbage Patch Kid doll hair. You know, it's like, I think of it as a crown. And then I do a few of these lines, which I'm not actually going to end up inking in, more like a reference thing. And then they become detail. And then there's the bread roll, because there's two of these on the head. They actually end here, but you got to just visualize it. Then that ends there. Then you do the loops for the hair. Sometimes it's two. And then you do the ponytail, which again is just another bread roll in my brain. And then she's a girl, so her facial features are smaller. This is what I learned about GPK girl characters. You draw the features bigger on the boy characters. And then the thing I do that other people know is I add a couple eyelashes there. And I'll do another. Right? And then you draw some attention nose by forcing a bridge. And then you do the button nose. Right? And then there's this thing, which is the muzzle. It's where the mouth goes, right? So I'm not going to kill myself too hard on getting the mouth right, because you're not going to see it anyway. And then it's like booger, booger, This first one doesn't really go anywhere. And then here, a lot of people like stress about making it match, and I don't. And I kind of just think of the booger as like pizza cheese. So I just like do whatever I want with it. Like it's a cheese ball. So I'm not even looking at reference now. It's just like it's a loose reference. And then she's got a doily thing here. Right? And then arm, arm. Yeah, and there it is. Like it's I don't think it's hard. I think it's just kind of tedious. So now it's like the actual coloring. So this is why I say to me it's kind of like pizza cheese. And I'll start with this because I don't. This is the thing I like the least, so I do it first. I find this a lot of people will like not do it this way. For me, it's like if there's something I don't want to do, I try to get it out of the way. So then the rest is easy by comparison. And then you find things that you think that aren't really hard at all to do, or things that you find tedious, but you don't have to spend that much time doing them. So I'm doing it literally like cheese because there's not a lot of color in it. It's mainly like, like this peachy color, and then like a green, but it's sort of all outline. And another way of doing this is these are the same colors that John Pound uses to paint the moon. So if you ever painted, if you ever do a Garbage Pail Kid moon, this is just boogers, which is like rotten cheese. And because this is like, bodily fluids, if you fuck up, it doesn't matter. It's a happy accident thing, like I meant to do that. So you'll notice when I do stuff on the stream, I never really go, oh, I fucked up. I'm just like, all right, that's just cool. Let's roll with it. He's a cool character. He's difficult to draw. You know how I do Haunted Hollis? I flip the card. I flip the card upside down and draw him right side up. That makes it easier for me. Yep, I think that's the universal artist trick. I've seen a few times where people have drawn him, they actually draw him upside down, and I'm like, why are you making it hard for yourself? Like, never be afraid to do things to make it easier for yourself. Because if you make it easier for yourself, it'll come out better. Sometimes I'll draw the version of Haunted Hollis where he's the Ben Affleck Batman, and I do the exact same thing. I just flip the card upside down and just draw him right side up. It's more fun, you know. All right, let's do the hair now. Like, see, this is how you make a card that's a little time consuming, just easier. Just break it up into different things in your mind and then just do each piece. And at the end, it just comes together like a puzzle. Like, ah, I didn't even realize I was done. Like, for me, when I'm like at this point, I'm just like, oh, this card's almost done, you know? And it's a nice feeling to know you're like near the end versus like, stuck on detailing something that doesn't really matter. Yeah, see, to me, he's just like overly detailed, you know? And, and it's fun sometimes if you're like feeling, you're like, I need to like clear my head to draw characters like that. I should probably do that more. But yeah, I try to stay away from characters I feel like are overly detailed. But, I've been in a mindset where I need to clear my head more, so I should not do that actually. Alright. There we go. Yep. Alright. I agree. Alright. Art helps in so many ways, are what I'm responding to. Alright, now let's just do some lining, because I do want to get this guy finished up. We'll definitely have him done before the top of the hour, which is what was my goal. I say him even though it's a girl. They're all him, I guess, in a way. They're him, who, they. My markers go right over the pencil. Yeah, they're strong markers. I mean, I think you'll still be able to see them. But, that's kind of like the point. I don't really erase my pencil lines on anything anymore. I used to. And, by and large, I will say that's a good practice if you're, doing stuff for people. But I do so many commissions that are based on like roughs, like I do a lot of zombie sketches. And I tend to do really rough pencil lines over them, and then I just kind of leave those on there as like kind of damage. And then on GPKs, I feel like it gives it kind of a human touch. And then, like I said, I use strong markers. Like right now, I'm using this Copic marker that'll obliterate any pencil lines underneath it, essentially. And then, like you see, sometimes I just add shit in the inking process. So I try not to overly detail anything. But yeah, I think that's just a component of how I do things. Like, by and large, I would probably tell people to erase your pencil lines. Until, like one day you're like, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, and I know a lot of people erase them because they're afraid of the markers or whatever smearing the pencil and ruining the art, but I'm just not that delicate. Like, I don't really think smudges ruin things. Like I've said before on this stream and others, I'm a big believer in the happy accident. Smudges and things give things texture, and I kind of like that. Like even these lines I'm doing with marker here for the booger. There's a few I'm like, that's thicker than I would like, but then it's like, you know, you can't control just the size of discharge. So you just kind of like learn to roll with it. And I don't think it's me being callous. It's just like, you know, I'm just trying to do different things. When you draw something like so many times, like you're kind of itching for different versions of it. It's kind of like when I went to go see bands I liked as a kid. They would like do different arrangements of their songs live because I'm sure they got tired of playing them the same way over and over and over again. Like I guarantee you, like I would have drawn this card completely differently, like, you know, 5, 6, 7 years ago than I'm drawing it now. But this is the way I like it now, and I think it's like instantly recognizable as what it's supposed to be too. So. Like I didn't use one black marker on this drawing, and I'm not gonna go back and add it. It's just like, yeah, and this is how I feel this card should look now. I feel lately I'm trying to get away from using as much like black as I've used in the past. Yeah, they've got a lot of new characters. They try to stay timely, which I think is fun. There we go. I don't think that's too bad at all. All right, so we did like 3 cards on this stream, which is pretty solid. I think I'm gonna call it a stream there because that's like a lot. I know I got one more to do for Misty here, a Junkie Death, but I might pop on later and do him. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 commissions left. I think I did like 3 here, so that was good. So yeah, I think I might pop on later tonight and really make it happen. No worries. I'm glad you tuned in and liked it. You know, we had like a 80-minute stream here, which is I think pretty solid. And yeah, it's like I think we'll have fun finishing these up, and then hopefully I think not hopefully, we will next week. I'll be doing some live ones, just like cool Halloween themed ones for Halloween week, and we will get those. You know, you guys will be like, I feel like drawing Michael Myers, and you guys can like bid on it, and we'll make it fun. So yeah, stay tuned for Halloween week next week. But keep tuning in this week as we finish up what's left of Grosstober commissions. All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you all soon. Peace out. Thank you.